Please note that we will be using Google Chrome to complete this lab. Even if you are using a Macintosh or Apple device, you can actually load Google Chrome on that. You can also load it on Android devices, but again, we are using Google Chrome. If you attempt to use a different browser, it will not work the same. So you do need Google Chrome to proceed. Again, if you are having difficulties with this, please contact me. Also, we will be using an accessory in Windows called the Windows Snipping tool. That can be found under Windows Accessories, which is a folder, and you just run that, and it looks like the image on the screen here. There is an instructional video posted on Moodle for this. It's a YouTube video. It's not one that I created, but it's a pretty good video on the subject. It tells you a little more than you need for this lab, but you will know well enough how to use that utility then. You will be using this snipping tool in future labs as well, so be sure to watch that video unless you're already familiar with that. This lab has two parts to it. In the first part, part 1, worth 25 out of 50 points, we'll be using 3 different sites, Travelocity, Expedia, and Kayak, to look up flight tickets for a round trip. Now, this round trip will be leaving from the Kalamazoo Airport to any U.S. destination, so you can choose whatever destination you want. We are putting specific dates, leaving Sunday, March 1st, returning March 7th. Please sort the results from lowest to highest and do a screen capture on the top results. Email each of your 3 screen captures to professordoonan@gmail.com. And what you should be seeing here is a great deal of similarity, but yet some differences in pricing. Now, Travelocity and Expedia are both search engines in themselves. However, Kayak is actually considered a meta search engine because it uses Travelocity, Expedia, and other similar sites to get its information. So it's actually considered a meta search engine. I'll be demonstrating this in the next several slides. Starting with Travelocity, doing a search on Travelocity brings us to the website. We're going to make sure we click on flights. So change the from to Kalamazoo. You can just type K-A-L and it will find it. And then whatever your destination is, I happen to be using Wichita, Kansas. Change your dates to March 1st departing and March 7th returning. And then go ahead and run the search. When you get your search, make sure that the sort is set for the lowest price first, which in this case it already is. So now that I have my search results and they're sorted, I'm going to bring up the Windows Snipping tool. Just like we used last time in the lab. I'm going to click New and just select the area that gets from the top of the website down to the bottom of the top result, and go ahead and save that. It will probably save it in your Pictures folder, and make sure you give it the name, in this case, Tickets-1. Don't worry about this file extension, it'll put it in for you. Click Save, and then go ahead and close the snippet tool. The next site we'll be doing is Expedia. You can actually type EXP and find it in the Google list. When that website comes up, you're going to do the same thing. Make sure you have flights selected and change the flying from to Kalamazoo Airport by typing KAL. And also go to flying to, whatever your choice is. Again, I'm using Wichita. Your departing date will be March 1st, and returning date will be March 7th. You want to make sure these are all the same so we get a direct comparison of our results. Click the search and get your results. Again, make sure that it's sorted by the lowest price first. And then we'll go ahead and get a screenshot of those results as well. For our results then, go ahead and open the Windows Snipping tool again, click New, and save the same area. Make sure you pick up the header and the top selected flight, and save that again to your default, probably pictures directory or folder, and we're going to call that one tickets-2. Click the Save button and then go ahead and close the snipping tool. Okay, for our last one, we're going to be using Kayak. When you start typing that in, you'll see it come up, and open that website. Slightly different layout here. Go ahead and enter Kalamazoo for your from and whatever your destination is. Mine is, again, Wichita. And you always see those when you start typing them. Also, of course, from March 1st up through March 7th for the return date. Once you have those in, go ahead and click the magnifying glass to search. Now, something you'll see is interesting. This takes a little longer to load the results, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Now, you see these results come up. In this particular one, it did not show the cheapest first, so I'm clicking cheapest on top to get that flight, and now I am ready to get my screen capture. This will be our last screen capture for part 1. Again, run the snipping tool and click New, and select the same area that includes the top down to your first search item that you received from that search. Go ahead and save that as tickets-3 and click the Save button, and then go ahead and close the snipping tool again. Okay, very quickly, I'm going to show you why Kayak is actually considered a meta search engine. You could not see the tab on top, but it added another tab in the browser, and note that it brought up a number of its competitors and their prices as well. So that's what makes this a little different, is that it looks at a number of search engines to get your results and not just one. It also is including Travelocity and Expedia, which we did searches on. Should say the same price, although you'll find that those can vary from time to time. Also, a little note, you may have noticed some similarities between Expedia and Travelocity. As a matter of fact, the formatting of their search results was nearly identical. And this is actually because Expedia owns Travelocity. That wasn't always true, but right now, in this particular case, there are only a few big players in this market. So Expedia actually owns Travelocity and also Orbitz, Cheap Tickets, Hotwire, and eBookers. Also, Priceline owns Kayak as well as Booking.com, Cheap Flights, Agoda, and Momondo. So good thing to remember is when you're looking at specific sites, it's not a bad idea to do your research beforehand and find out who owns who. Sometimes they actually compete with each other too, so it doesn't mean you won't find better prices on different sites. And it'll be interesting to see results and see, for example, if there is any difference between Expedia and Travelocity, and if Kayak also brings up the same results in its meta search as well. Okay, for part two of this lab, worth 25 points, you will be searching for your name on Google, which is kind of an interesting search. A lot of it you expect to find, but we're going to go ahead and do that. When you do the search, be sure to put your name in double quotes just to be sure you get that specific string, and otherwise it will pick up results from both your first and last name. And then try to locate a result that pertains to you specifically. Obviously, some names are more common than others, and you may find quite a few results with somebody with your name, which is actually quite interesting in some cases. When you find one that you want to go ahead and send, get a screen capture of it, and you'll be emailing that to the Professor Doonan at gmail.com. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and search on my name. Make sure that you put your name in double quotes in the Google search. And then you might be surprised what you come up with. It looks like right now I've got an entry on Rate My Professors. And, well, not bad. That's a 5. There's only one person rating me, of course. And also going back, it looks like I also have my photo appearing in there. Interesting images because you see often see other people with your name too. So sometimes this will be kind of fun to do this and find out what is out on the web pertaining to your name. Now I'm going to go ahead and search a little deeper here. I actually already know what the results are going to be, but I'm going to go to advanced search. Now I used to have a car, a Trans Am that I used to race at the drag strips, and I know for a fact there's an entry out there for it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Note how I've changed those both to double quotes and did the advanced search, and sure enough that entry is still out there under my name. So I can bring that up, and that's going to be the one that I'm going to go ahead and make my screenshot of. So this will be our last screenshot. We're going to again run the Windows snipping tool, create a new screenshot, and just get a screenshot of the pertinent information that you found. And go ahead and save that. That'll be the fourth file you've saved. And we're going to just name that under your name. And of course it will pick the actual file extension for you. You can see the other three screenshots of tickets I had up there. Then go ahead and close the Windows snipping tool. Now, before we finish up, there's something interesting to point out. I'm just going back to the previous results. I had just been searching on, in my case, flights from Kalamazoo to Wichita. And interesting thing about the web, anything you do out there is stored somewhere. So notice I have some ads on this particular site. Fly Kalamazoo to Wichita. Price is a lot higher too. But once you start searching out on the web, it's pretty much there forever. And I'm sure you've noticed this before, particularly in Google. It tracks just about everything you do. So just something I wanted to point out there.